continuing on with Daryl Brown, and I want to mention a very memorable passage in the book about, and I forget who was interviewed for it, talking about when you sit too close to a drummer, you end up with all sorts of wood shavings in your hair.
Mousy.
Oh man, that was a very dramatic
Yeah, but
story. Where not to sit on a stage.
I'm serious because when you had, all right, let's go back to, you had Clyde Stubblefield. Okay. You had, I'm gonna think of his name in a few minutes, but you had Clyde Stubblefield. You had a lot of drummers, and I remember one of them was Maceo Parker's brother, Melvin Parker.
Okay.
Because that's who showed me. That's how I got that drum set at that time. Because we were there at the Apollo Theater. My mother came and everything, and she sang, and I got on the drums. And he was my protege, Melvin Parker. Okay. Then you had Jalbo.
Okay.
Okay, Starks. You had him. You had Filliard. You had, oh God, it was another drummer that comes to mind to me is Nat Jones.
Okay.
Now, Nat Jones was the platform for all the other drummers that came along.
Now, what years was he with the?
Nat Jones was there in 1965.
Okay.
You know, he just my father said he's just a loose cannon, but he can woodshed. Back in them days, you know, the way the music was, and if you played with James Brown, you were breaking sticks because you had to hit it, man. You know, you had to really hit the drums, and that's what we talking about, the woodshed. You know, all the wood chips and different things flying all over the place.
Well, give me the first string lineup of his band, regardless of the era, on different instruments.
Okay.
I mean, like Maceo Parker.
Maceo Parker.
Okay.
You had Fred Wesley. You had
Okay. Name the instruments because not
Okay. Fred Wesley trombone. Maceo tenor sax.
Okay.
No, not tenor, alto
alto.
sax. You had Sinclair Pinckney.
On
Okay. He was on tenor sax.
tenor.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had, before that, I'd always mention Pee Wee because Pee Wee came before Fred Wesley. Pee Wee was the band leader, but he went on to do other things like jazz and stuff like that. And you had that was basically it. But you had people like Hassan and Jason. They were two brothers, played trumpet.
How about keyboards?
We never had no keyboard.
Never had keyboards?
Let me tell you something about
Never
that.
had
And that's
keyboards?
strange. Well, like Bobby Bird would play keyboards.
Okay,
sometimes.
yeah, but it wasn't a key instrument.
Yeah, it wasn't, because
Why?
if you look at most of his music, we didn't have keyboards in there. You know, except the ballads maybe. You know, they might have had a few keyboards, but most of his music did not have keyboards in it. It
Now,
was strictly rhythm.
It's a man's world. It's highly orchestrated.
Well, Man's World's highly orchestrated because that's not his band.
I
That was
understand,
a studio
but-
band, you know what I'm saying? But
Whose studio band was it?
I'm not sure. I'm not even really sure
Or where it was recorded?
Yeah, where it was
Because
recorded.
that's a total departure from
Yeah,
every. I mean,
yeah.
that's in the middle of the discography.
I got something for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember Soul on Top?
Go ahead.
You don't remember that, do you?
No.
The jazz album my father did, the jazz stand, him and Louis Bellson.
On what level?
We just did that. That was on King Label.
It was?
We did that. Okay. We did a revitalization of that Hollywood Bowl before he passed on.
What songs are on there?
Everything. You know, you think of standards, all the standard tunes that and people didn't know that he can croon like that.
Well, he did some country songs.
Oh, kind of
Like Three Hearts and a Tango.
Yeah,
That's hardcore country.
See, but that's
King.
when he did those things. I was a little whippersnapper.
See,
I was out there playing with him.
King Records.
I was playing with Jeff. I didn't know that. You know, you asked me some stuff that I don't even really know.
King Records started out as a country label.
That's right.
And they would
That's
have,
true.
you know, and their first big hit of the rock and roll era was 60 Minute Man with the Dominoes. And they had
Yeah,
country acts
sure was.
covering
Yeah.
that song. They had pop acts. There was King put out a Frank Sinatra-like vocal on that song.
So that was a strange.
It was a very-
that was a strange relationship.
Yeah,
But he constantly fight my father, but yet my father make hits.
yeah, it's a bottom line.
You see what I'm saying?
operation.
But at the same time, they love each other.
So he never felt that he was going to be dropped or that his career was
When he
over.
left, he went to Polygram. That was a pure business decision.
Now, what happened with Smash Records? He was there for a few releases.
But see,
Out of
those
Sight
were-
was
but
a
those were
huge hit.
labels.
But then,
I used to think that Sid owned those labels. They were subsidiaries of King.
no, Smash was part of Mercury.
Yeah, but that's what I used to think. I know it was part of Mercury, but I used to think that.
Well, I understood there was a lawsuit over that said Nathan,
I would
took him
know
to
that,
court.
man.
Okay.
I was playing my trucks.
You could care less. Okay.
I could have cared less about what was
They
going on.
might have
there.
cut in on your payday, though.
But no, those songs, because I'm finding things out about those older songs today. Because 1960, you remember my mother saying Beatrice Ford. She sang the song "You Got the Power." That was the first duet he ever did.
He did duets with Vicki Anderson. He did
Later on.
duets
I'm talking about
with
the first
Marva
duet.
Whitney.
Yeah, 1960 was
So-
"You Got the Power."
So did he usually have a girl singer on stage with him to
Yeah, he liked
duet
girls.
with?
As you can see.
Yeah, so I understand. There's three.
See, everybody that was on,
I
the girl
identif-
was on the stage, that was his girl. So
Yeah.
he owned everything on that stage. So that's why sometimes I don't think we used to call Vicky Mamio. We call her Mamio. Sometimes I'm like, Vicky, how did you get away? She said, I knew that he wasn't going to, because before she even married Bobby Bird, she was going with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about it in the book. She said, I seen how he do women. I don't know, I'm part of that. But they still, made good friends and everything. Because he loved to make Vicky sing.
Okay.
She had that real grassy, hard voice, high but hard,
So you started the book off with for better or for worse, with the funeral and everything that went along with it.
You talking about Adrian?
Well, I'm talking about, you driving, with a casket that was way too heavy for
I was in
any
New Jersey.
airplane.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in New Jersey.
Okay,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, what was I saying? I had a point. Oh yeah, you made a very well. Let's